Ember time. New ball from 900 Global, non-identical twin of the Cove, same core, symmetrical, low RG, medium diff core, but this one, where the Cove is super early and smooth, this one has a cleaner, much more responsive cover. So let's see it go down lane. This is straight after filming the Cove ball review, so please go watch that one. And yeah, let's see what the Ember is like. All right, so first of all, Ember, symmetrical, clean ball in the, I'd say in the lower middle of my bag. So it's definitely weaker than my earlier symmetrical balls like a Rockstar, Phase 2, or definitely cleaner than the Cove. The Cove is super early, but it's not as, I don't think it's as clean as something like as a High Road 40, and also it seems like it's a little smoother than some of the weaker or some of the other shiny symmetricals, at least for me. So throw another shot here. Again, almost completely fresh 40-foot pattern. One thing to keep in mind, because that actually looks pretty good, this center has a lot of early friction, so I can probably throw the Ember on the fresh here. You might not be able to do that in a center with less friction on the fresh, just simply because it's going to be a little too clean, a little too weak. To kind of give you an impression, we just balled on 44 feet here, and I threw a shiny Gremlin on the fresh. So 40 feet, I can definitely throw a weaker ball like the Ember. But again, the Ember, I haven't had a chance to throw it a whole lot yet, so this is kind of also my first time really seeing it on a condition that might actually match it. So, but so far it surprised me a little bit with, like, it's smoother than I expected it to be. Definitely wants to go forward and tumble a little bit more than I expected it to. So let's see what it can do if we move another 5 left. That was a nice kick. So obviously didn't quite get it as far right as I did earlier, but still comes back, still has plenty of energy. When I was balling on some little more burned up conditions, where there also was a little bit of carry down, I felt like the Ember had a little bit of trouble kind of getting around that and getting through the pins strong enough. So that might be because my rev rate is a little lower. I've seen a lot of two-handed players and players with really high rev rates really liking this ball, making it look amazing. And I think because it's a little bit smoother for a shiny symmetrical ball, I can see why those players would like it, because it doesn't go crazy when they get that super high rev rate. It doesn't go sideways, and it kind of allows them to use a cleaner ball without it being super responsive. So actually, let's throw a shot. My rev rate's around 370. When I hit it, I can probably get it to 404 to 420. So let's throw one where I try to get my rev rate up. We'll see the difference, and you can kind of see what I mean when I say, like, it doesn't go crazy even though your rev rate increases. So that might be why it's so good for some of those high rev guys. So to move a little further left when I hit it that much, but you can see it's not that it's just getting downlane and going sideways. It's definitely stronger and it's more responsive when I get my rev rate that high, but by no means does it seem like it's uncontrollable. I just need to go a little further left, so I'm gonna move another 2 left increase my launch angle a little bit, and I think we will get a pretty good result. Yeah, and I definitely, like, obviously higher rev rate, ball's gonna react more, but it's still like the last 10 feet or so is still very forward, very controllable. It's by no means is it going sideways on the back end. It's not going sideways through the pins. So you still have that little bit of control, which I think for me as more of a medium rev rate player, it might leave it in a little bit of an area where I'm not gonna use it all the time, but I'm gonna use it when I need that little bit of control, but in a weaker ball. But for a really high rev player, two-handed player, I think it's gonna be great because it's gonna give you control, even though you're throwing a shinier, weaker ball. And a lot of times when you get into those balls, like when you get into, let's say, a Sen 25, an IQ AI, High Road 40, you're getting something that's more responsive to, and it might actually make your ball reaction a little unpredictable because it's clean and then it's pretty snappy too. It's a little bit different, so I can see why they would really like this ball, but not gonna hit it so hard anymore. So we're gonna move back. I'm gonna make this is about 5 boards right of where I started, so let's see it from this spot. Yeah, that's still pretty good. Like, even though I move into the friction more, gets through the friction, it's definitely, if you saw my Cove video from that's basically where I threw the Cove from. Cove is definitely earlier, smoother off that spot. The Ember gets much further down the lane and it is more responsive, but it doesn't just jump off the spot there. It still kind of rolls off it. So there is some similarities between the Cove and the Ember, although they're very different. But I would say in the last 10 feet of the lane, they kind of want to get into that little bit more forward motion compared to say something like a Sen 25 or another cleaner symmetrical ball, pearl symmetrical ball. That also means that I can probably use a little more axis rotation with the Ember than I would be able to with some of my other shiny balls, because it's still going to be smoother off of it. Okay, so let's do a test and see if I can use a little more axis rotation with this one. So this is 8 left of where I started the video, and not going to increase my rev rate, just a little more axis rotation. Yeah, you can still see, even though my axis rotation probably went up from, let's just say, 50 to 70 or like 40 to 70, the motion is more, but it still wants to go forward and roll on the back end. It doesn't just get down there and then go sideways and just keep hooking left to where you're going to leave a ton of big splits. It's still very controllable. And I think that's what it makes the Ember a little different than a lot of other balls, but also very usable, especially if you have a really high rev rate. I think probably I'm going to use it on in bowling centers with a lot of friction. I'm going to use it on patterns that are broken down where I need to get the ball through the front part of the lane, but I don't need it to be, but I don't need it to really back end sharply. I just need it to kind of roll off the friction. That's kind of probably where I'm going to use it. If you have a higher rev rate than me, I think you can use it on pretty much every broken down pattern at some point, because it's not going to overreact for you, and it's not going to be too early. So it's going to fill a really good gap for you, I think. But yeah, that's the Ember. I look forward to throwing it some more, seeing how good it'll actually be for me in those spots with a little more friction where I need to control the friction. And yeah, tell me if you've thrown it and you have a higher rev rate than me. Do you like it? Do you see it used in a different way than I'm seeing it for me? And yeah, let me know in the comments. So, but thank you, and make sure you go watch my Cove review. Same core, different cover, makes a big difference on a ball. So yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure you check out more videos. I'll have some linked here, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video coming up pretty soon.